What is up, FPG fam? Welcome back to the channel. So for today's video, I wanted to talk about something very specific, and that's how are we going to build our Yae Mikos. People are excited, people are starting to prep, including myself. I know, right? Starting to prep already? Indeed, people are starting to get their stuff together. And I see a lot of individuals are confused on how they're going to want to build their Yae Miko. I've been getting questions about it, as well as what artifact set are we going to put on this character. So I wanted to briefly talk about it with you guys. I also want to brainstorm with all of you because you are all highly intelligent individuals when it comes to the game of Genshin Impact. So I want to discuss it with you guys in the comments down below. Make sure you go and comment. Let me know what you're going to be building for your Yae Miko, how you're going to be building it, and things of that nature. Also, if you enjoy the content, you're excited about Yae Miko, let me know by hitting the like button. It helps out tremendously, means more to the channel than you may even know. With that being said, let's jump straight into it. So the reason why people are confused, one, the character is not even out yet. Let's go ahead and get that down packed. Character is not even out yet. Also, people I think are confused because we know that Elemental Mastery is going to be a bit of an instrumental part to Yae Miko's kit, just because it does boost the damage of your elemental skill. Now, people are confused on if they should go full EM, if they should do some type of split scaling, and I want to discuss that with you today. So let's take a look at the artifact builds. I'm not going to be talking about the weapon today in this video, but let me know if you do want to talk about it in a different video. I'm going to talk specifically about the artifact set and what we're looking for stat-wise. So let's go ahead and talk about artifacts for Yae Miko. Now, the very first thing that I did want to quickly mention is that I believe in patch 2.5, I could be mistaken, but I think in patch 2.5, we're going to get some new artifact sets. And I think one of those are going to be tailor-made for Yae Miko. Once again, I could be wrong, but I believe that might be the case. And so I would advise, as of right now, save your fragile raisins. Save your raisins for that artifact set or to see if one gets released, right? As of this recording, I don't have that information, but we may get some here relatively soon. And if we do, you're going to want to have your fragile raisins saved so that way you can farm that domain, get your artifact set build ready, and you didn't waste it on some other ones that may not be as good, right? But if we're talking about what we have right now, and let's say there's not a new artifact set coming out, what are we looking at set-wise? Well, there's a few options that we might have available. The first one that comes to mind is a 2-piece Thundering Fury and 2-piece Shimenawa. Now, the reason being is because we know that with Yae Miko, she's going to be more of that burst slash sub DPS role where you're really going to be spamming elemental skills and doing the elemental burst whenever it's ready to go. So you're going to be doing the electro damage. So the Thundering Fury is going to be nice. And then the Shimenawa just basically for the 2-piece set to go ahead and get that attack percent bonus, right? That's what we're really looking at. Now, there's another piece that I think is going to be pretty decent on Yae Miko, and that's possibly the Emblem of Severed Phase set. Now, the reason being is because of the energy recharge for the 2-piece. It's going to be nice because we know what Yae Miko's energy cost is. It's high to say the least, but the 4-piece is actually really nice as well because we're going to be increasing the elemental burst damage. Now, we all know that Yae Miko's elemental burst is going to be an absolute nuke. If you don't know that, check out my last video. I talked about it. It's going to hit extremely hard. So this might be a really good set to go ahead and place on your Yae Miko. So those are the two that I have in mind, like right off the bat. Now, if we're talking about some maybe, I don't want to say off meta stuff, but maybe some wonky out there, out of the box sets that we can maybe be thinking of is maybe a 2-piece Noblesse for the elemental burst damage of an additional 20%, and maybe a 2-piece Shimenawa. That might be something. Or we can even go with a 2-piece Wanderer's Shrew, 2-piece Noblesse, or 2-piece Shimenawa, or 2-piece Emblem of Severed Fate. I mean, these are all options. This is one of the things that I like about Yae Miko the most, is that it appears that when it comes to her build and artifacts, we're going to have a lot of different options that we can play around with to see what works best. I think it's going to take a lot of testing in-game with certain sets to see which one might be potentially the best. Now, of course, this is once again, if there's not a new artifact set coming out, then we have a lot of testing to do with these current artifacts that we have. But if there is a new one coming out, that's probably going to be the most applicable, best in slot, and you're probably going to be running that whether it be the 2-piece or 4-piece set, most likely the 4-piece set. Now let's go ahead and talk about the stats that we're looking at. And once again, the elephant in the room is the Elemental Mastery, the EM. Do you want to go full-blown EM like Kazuha? I don't think so. I know people are throwing around the meme of 1,000 EM, over 1,000 EM, and trust me, there are going to be videos on over 1,000 EM Yae Miko. That's going to happen. Better believe it. I'm putting my money on it right now. It's going to happen. I might even do it myself. That's going to happen, right? But I don't think you need that much EM. And the reason being is because EM is going to be important. Because I've done some math when it comes to how much EM in comparison to the amount of damage that you're going to get back from the elemental skill, and it's pretty decent. I'm not going to lie. If you do have about 500 EM, my math, if I'm doing it correctly, which I'm bad at math by the way, equals out to be about an additional 75% towards your elemental skill damage, where if you do the elemental skill damage 1 it's going to be roughly around 150%. That's nothing to scoff at, right? That's pretty decent. So my best recommendation is on each one of your substats when it comes to your artifacts is to have EM on it. If you can build up enough EM on your substats, that might be enough to then not have to have it on your sands, and you can go with something else like an attack percent sands. Now, if you're not getting enough EM on your substats, for whatever reason, RNG is not on your side, then an elemental mastery or EM sands might be the way to go, but you may be sacrificing damage in the process. All of this of what we're talking about is things that we need to test in game. We need to test how these things work and how well attack percent versus elemental mastery is going to be. Those are things that need to be tested in game, but I don't think you need to have max EM. So I'm thinking you can either go attack percent if you're getting enough substats on enough EM on your substats, or if you're not, then maybe play around with the sands EM. And then of course you're gonna go with an electro damage goblet. I think that's a no-brainer. And then you're gonna go with either a crit rate, especially if you're going and getting her applicable weapon, then you're gonna go with a crit rate circlet in my opinion. And then obviously you're just gonna ratio it out. If you don't have her applicable weapon, you may be going with the crit rate circlet. It just really depends. But for example, I don't think you should meme it by doing a Kazuha here, going EM on the circlet, EM on the goblet, EM on the sands. I don't think it's going to be needed that much. But I think you're definitely going to want to have as much on the substats and get it, decently high, right? You want the EM to be decently high, but not so high that you're sacrificing in other areas. And that's where I think the balancing act for Yae Miko is going to come into play, and where you just have to really play around with the artifacts that you have, the rolls that you're getting, and the substats that are on said artifacts. But that's just my opinion. That's what I'm thinking right now. Once again, not really taking into account weapons and talking about that, which I can go more into detail in a different video if you want to see that. In terms of the artifact set, I think there's going to be a new one in patch 2.5, but if there's not, we're looking at maybe a 2-piece Thunder and Fury, 2-piece Shimenawa, 2-piece Thunder and Fury, 2-piece Emblem of Severed Fate, 4-piece Emblem of Severed Fate, or 2-piece Noblesse, 2-piece Thunder and Fury. Who knows? There's a lot of options, a lot of different options that we can mess around with, play around with, and try out and test in game to see what works best. But anyways, guys, just a quick video. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully it was slightly informative. Hopefully I wasn't all over the place. If you want to know more, or if you have some additional questions, let me know in the comments down below. Once again, let me know your guys' thoughts about everything. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. And remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in literally everything that you do. My name is Cody. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.